Oh my God, you guys. So today is my third rapture. It's my third rapture. Let me know what number rapture this is for you guys. But I'm super excited to see the mayhem that's going to come out tomorrow. But for those of you who don't know what's going on, I'm just going to quickly catch you up.
Guys, I'm saying goodbye to my car. I've had it for 5 years. They're taking it. Oh, this is my baby, man. This has been my baby for years. 5 years. But she's gotta go. I won't need her beyond September because I'm going home to where my Father in heaven is. She's a nice car, isn't she? I kept that baby clean. Some scratches around it, but for the most part, she's nice. But she's mine no more. Someone else is gonna get her. I'm catching a flight to heaven in September anyway. I won't need the car. Roar! Roar!
So I told you guys that every day I'm doing something to prep my home for whoever is here after the rapture. So let me show you what I did today. So it's just like a little flow chart. These are things like based on, you can't really see, but based on the, versus the seals or trumpets, this is what you need to be doing to prepare. And then this one goes over what is happening, what they can expect, and then also like prepping. So the first seal, the white horse, we know who it is, who it symbolizes, but it gives them like the visual, a powerful figure, and then he'll deceive nations. And then at prep, it says repent and seek God, avoid deception. So anyways, that's what I did today.
I am sold out. I believe everything Brother Joshua said. My heart and my mind is made up. I believe that the rapture is going to take place when Brother Joshua said it was going to take place. I believe every word that brother said. The sovereign Lord is pouring out his spirit on his children. You have children as young as 5 and 6 years old having dreams. You have the United Nations meeting on the 22nd with a possibility of splitting the land of Israel. And we could be taken when Brother Joshua said the Lord said he was going to take us on the 23rd. Isn't that a coincidence? So I am going out on my faith. And I am believing this brother because I have nothing to lose. Then also, I'm seeing so many of you. No one knows the day or the hour. No one knows the day or the hour. That's the favorite word for lukewarm Christians. Those who are not following, those who are not watching. That's the only thing that they can say. Because they are spiritually still asleep. They are in a slumber. And if they were paying attention, they would be like, wait a minute. This could be possibly truthful. Then we also know our Lord is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So he always warns his children. We also know in the book of Amos, it states that the Lord does nothing without warning his servants, the prophets. So we will be warned. We will be. And I believe right now we are being warned. So take heed. Don't let anyone disencourage you and say, that man is lying. Those people are crazy. Take heed. You have nothing to lose to be prepared for next week. You have nothing to lose. Nothing at all. Prepare yourself and prepare your home. Prepare your heart and get your life right with the Lord.
You guys already know, I truly believe with all my heart we will be raptured during Feast of Trumpets this year. If there is some chance that we don't get raptured, I will come back and make an apology video for myself being deceived. And that will be it. I may seem like I don't care right now. I'm kind of frustrated because I keep trying to record this, but I assure you this is, it's bittersweet because I know we're going home.
So there are countless videos like that online right now. There are some people that are doing rapture tips, like tips how to best be raptured. This one lady was talking about how, her like rapture tip number 5, make sure you don't hold on to anything. You don't want there to be any resistance when you start levitating. People have been giving away their cars, their savings, their homes. There's this one guy. He actually showed us the wad of cash that he was given. He is an Uber driver. And there's this family that was like, oh my gosh, like we're gonna be raptured. Also, this family lives in a very like affluent neighborhood. And like, hey, so we're totes gonna be raptured. And they didn't say it like this, but I'm paraphrasing. They're like, we're totes gonna be raptured. We don't think you're gonna be raptured. And we feel really sorry for you. And we know that you're gonna need like a lot of help being like not raptured, especially during the end times. So here's all the money that we have on us right now. He counted it up. It was about $1,900. And he was like, and they were like, we're also going to be giving away a bunch of our cars and like other things, not just us, but like other people in our community for those less fortunate, aka those who will not be raptured. And so we would love to, like, we might be giving you more stuff because you're going to need the help. And he was like, oh my God, thank you so much. I didn't know that any of that was happening. It's crazy. Thank you. So there's a number of things that I want to say about this, especially as somebody who grew up very Pentecostal in a church that was very tribulations, fire, brimstone teaching, us, all too young, far too elementary school age, when we were taught that if we don't do the correct things and if we don't allow Jesus into our hearts enough, that we will be damned for the rest of our lives. They said this to a room full of little black and brown kids. There were a couple of little white kids in there too, but my God. So before we dive in, hi, for those of you who are new here, my name is Shayna. I'm a journalist. I know I look like I just rolled out of bed because I did. But I promise you, you could go check out my website, all of my articles, all of my nominations, all over there. But on this channel, I talk a lot about decentering men and child-free living through an intersectional lens. So if any of that sounds like a vibe, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're interested in gaining resources for leaving the United States or whatever country that you're in where fascism is on the rise, hey, it's happening not everywhere, but it's happening in a lot of places. A lot of places. If you're interested in growing in community, gaining resources, we have a free platform that's called Black Babes Abroad. Links to everything is in the description. Join the party. There's a lot of important conversations that are happening over there. So on this page and in our day-to-day lives, I talk a lot about the three-headed hydra that sits along with patriarchy. And when we decenter men, we're specifically talking about decentering the patriarchy and the need to appease to it in our day-to-day lives. But that is just one dragon head. It's just one. There's also white supremacy and capitalism. And the three of these things work together to make everyone's lives shit. If you kill one head and the other two are still alive, guess what? It's just going to regrow. It's just you gotta end the whole beast, or else they're just gonna keep regenerating because they all feed into the other. And Christian nationalism, white saviorism, that is one of the creatures, that is one of the children produced from this triage of villainry. And in that comes the rapture. The rapture is a relatively new creation, but there are things that have been, there are stepping stones towards how the rapture has been taught today. And listen, this is still a thing that I am unweaving my way out of. This is a deep-rooted trauma and fear that I've held for most of my life as it relates to the rapture. Because, when you're told at like 9 years old, hey, listen, kid, you and all of your friends and your mom and your brother, you're all going to burn in hell forever unless you do this thing. And if you don't do this thing, and to a degree that to an unquantifiable amount, you have to, because you don't know how much your heart is given to the Lord until you're dead. So you better make sure that you're going above and beyond. So that way, when you die, you know that you've done it. You'll never know. But it's like, oh, well, and that anxiety, it's a lot. It was a lot for baby Shayna, and unweaving that as grown-up Shayna. Whole journey. But anyway, we're getting back to the history of the rapture. So if you have the time, I'll include the link to this below, but definitely go check out this article, this article. It's relatively short. It's about like 5 pages, but it outlines the stepping stones to us getting the rapture as it is taught today, because the way that it's taught today is really coined from one specific guy, but this outlines like the things in the early church to the medieval period to, I think, the Renaissance, can't remember, but there's a couple of like time periods that are and major things that happen as it relates to Christian theology during this time period, all focused on white folks, all being spearheaded by white folks, that led to this article. Now, this is a slightly longer read, but I strongly recommend. Lots of great information in this when it comes to literally the origin and evolution of Christian theology as it relates to the rapture, or rapture doctrine / rapture theory. Now, this guy, John Nelson Darby, he's the person that has, to say coined, because he didn't coin the rapture, but he was the person that created the version of the rapture that we know of today. And that really happened in the early 19th century, more specifically around like 1830. This article dives so much deeper into it. Definitely go and read it. He talks about these specific books and gives a lot of examples of how text has been misused over time. Just definitely check it out. Once again, link to this is below. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up for a similar reason that I brought up in this video, where I was talking about how there are all of these like white lady astrologers that were just like, oh my God, Trump is going to die on this specific time. Mind you, that was months ago. Trump is going to die at this specific time. I see it in the stars. And I used that video and that pattern to talk about how there are a lot of white people that try to shrug off responsibility and action, for the sake of something out there taking control and removing that responsibility for the things that white supremacy has done to all of us. And this opens up a much larger conversation about white people's obsession with death. Now, there are a lot of other creators that have made beautifully orchestrated think pieces about death culture and death cults and how that is so deeply integrated into whiteness as an identity. But I want to talk about it more specifically as it relates to responsibility. Now, Christianity and manifest destiny has caused a lot of harm globally to the global population. And this concept of rapture theory, it allows for the space where nobody has to take accountability for what is done on this earth, because in their minds, the greater mission, the thing that's more important than keeping the earth happy, than keeping the earth alive and sustainable, than making sure that their fellow men are okay in this physical life, is making sure that they are secure for the next life. So it's not about making sure home is okay. It's making sure that a place that they are assuming exists is for them. And this is not just a thing that affects white people. You don't have to be white to be a white supremacist, and you don't have to be white to accept white Christian theology. White Christian theology is what I was raised in. There's also a very real, how do I word this? When it comes to securing home being the current reality that we all know exists, the things that we can touch, right? The things that we know are real. If your focus, oh my God, my body, if your focus is not on the things that you know are real, but on the indefinite future that you assume to be real, then things like current politics, then things like what's going to happen to the world in 50 years, you don't care about that. You don't care about that. You barely care. And like, let me rephrase, because I was about to say you barely care about your neighbor, which I do think is true, unfortunately, because there's so much paranoia around securing your soul for eternity, that even in trying to like bring other people in, mind you, I grew up in this. I grew up in this. And so all of the friends that I would bring to youth group, there was this constant fear that I had of, okay, I made a new friend. And it honestly made me a little scared to make friends because I'm just like, oh my gosh, one more person that I need to like make sure their soul is secured for the rapture. And that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody that's still trying to, learn cursive. But the thing on top of that, the unspoken thing on top of that is, okay, the more people that I bring in, if they are not secured, in their faith at the end times, then at judgment, I'm going to have to answer for that. The concept of caring about the other when it relates to rapture theory gets very convoluted. And I think that watching these videos and watching people freak out from my 11-hour time difference, thank God I'm in Thailand, is actually helping me to further purge some of that problematic rhetoric and theology that I was taught, because you really see the abject selfishness in this kind of theology and behavior. I know people that are very, very near and dear to my heart that have just been waiting for, not can't say the entirety of my life, but for the majority of my life, waiting for the Lord to come and just helivac them out. And because of that, there are things that they have not done in life. There are things that they did not plan for, that they did not account for. They were not expecting to be here this long. We were supposed to be, the rapture was supposed to happen in 2000, it was supposed to happen in 2012, and it was supposed to happen one more time. There was one other time that it was supposed to happen after 2012. And then it's happening again. So maybe this is like my third or fourth rapture. I'm sorry, guys. But with that, and even though at some point, like my deconstruction of this Christianity, right? It happened, I didn't realize that it was happening while I was still kind of like within the faith. Ooh, wait. No. I started deconstructing. I started intentionally deconstructing, and I knew that I was deconstructing. And it was around the time that I had my really bad medical thing. I was paralyzed for a while, and I was really hoping that I'd be able to walk again. That's a whole other story. The video's here, trigger warning. But it was around that time that I was just like, you know what? I'm going to have to live for me. I'm going to have to live for me. There are things that I was holding out on, whether that was because, oh, I want to do this with a boyfriend, or I want to do this with my husband, or, oh, well, like, this doesn't really matter because we're going to be raptured anyway. There was a lot of things that I was like holding out from. And essentially it all boils down to it really, between the boyfriend and the husband and then the Christianity, a male-centered religion, there was just a lot of just like, okay, well, a big old booga, whether in the sky or in person, is going to come and change my life. So I have to hold off on like certain things until this man shows up, and then everything is different. And I was like, you know what? I can't live like this. There's places I have to be. I need to see the world. I have to go to New York City, mama. But yeah, long story short, in the words of Archbishop Meg the Stallion, he don't want to be saved, don't save him. They don't want to be saved. I mean, they really, really want to be saved. But when it comes to education, when it comes to critical thought, when it comes to things leading into a more sustainable tomorrow for all, those are not conversations that people want to have. Why? Because they do not want to be here. They do not want to be here. So you cannot make them care about here. They have to care about here, so that way they can invest into here. Here being earth. So that's why a lot of these conversations, there's a lot of back and forth that I just don't have the time or energy to do with people, online or in real time. So those are my rapture thoughts. I'll see you all tomorrow.